Oh, let me turn this off. Oh God, we're not doing. I don't want to do custom cards at the beginning. No, 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 no. Okay. I think I beat everybody because nobody's ready for me to be live at what, like 10:30, 10:20. Yeah, fucking nobody's ready for me to be live at 10:20. Okay. I should pop out YouTube chat. That would be a good start. Okay, that's live accurately. Uh, M, move that over. Hello, Thunder Tempest. Bro is touching his PR or whatever. I'm flicking my PR a little bit. Hello, Wolf. Helios, thank you for the drink water redeem. I am gonna drink a ginger beer because I was doing sprints this morning and I want sugar. Spider Mike, thank you for coming through. I'm glad the Rust Belt is ready to receive me. What's the seminar? I think today's going to be a bit of content strategy because I spent most of the last week filming with Skill Check, and it was really, really good to work with them. And I got to try out a few new video ideas, and I came up with a few video ideas after working with them that I didn't film with them, some of which I put into practice, and some of which fucking suck. And so, because I tend to, when I think about content strategy alone, just spin in really, really frustrated circles, I'm going to try talking about it here. We're going to do content strategy for a little bit. We're doing an early stream because I have to stop stream early. I have an errand to do that is time limited. And so we're going to have to end the stream by like 1:30, 1:45. Morahan, thank you very much for the Prime sub for 1 full year, buddy. Happy anniversary. Boss help, no context. Castrol the Wind-Crested or an unknown commander with Umori companion. Castrol. No questions asked. Specific fitness knowledge from Whitebread. Now that my full-time job is confirmed and in concrete, I want to go to the gym. I plan on doing a sort of Toji cosplay. How does one achieve the heavenly restriction build? Okay, so first part of this is it depends on if right now you are too fat or not fat enough. That's step one. If we look at Toji, he's like pretty ripped because he's an anime character. But if you put white sweatpants on and like a black tech shirt, you don't need you don't need to be like bodybuilder ripped. You just need to have enough muscle that people can see like, oh yeah, there are big man curves under there. Aegis, thank you for the 200-bit cheer. You're from Florida, work in entertainment, are bald, and have a dog-themed name. Have you considered a collab with Pitbull? No, but I should. Okay, so if we're too fat, what we gotta do is have you lift heavy, like lift pretty fucking heavy, and then lose weight so you can see what you're working with, to see if you actually need to gain muscle, or like, because when I was a kid and I was trying out for my rowing team, I had strong legs just because I was really fat and had to carry around my body my whole life. And so if you're carrying around like a 260 plus figure when you walk, when you go up and down stairs, shit like that, your legs actually like get kind of strong. So for you, what I would recommend is you're probably going to want to lift like, I mean, you could do like 6 days a week. You really could, because we're not going to have you, I wouldn't have you just like run endlessly. I guess a lot of it depends on how easy of a time you have eating in a caloric deficit. Because to get to the Toji build, you don't actually need to have a cardio base. I usually find it's easier for me to lose weight if I'm doing cardio and eating normally than it is to eat less. So let me think of the best pattern I can give you for success going forward. the best workout plan is always whatever you will adhere to. Bar none. Whatever you're going to adhere to is always going to be the winner. Papa Requiem, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. Welcome to the dog pile. So, if what you like the most is working out 2 to 3 times a week, I would do full body lifts. So let's do 4 white bread. If 2 to 3 times a week, full body lifts, I would try to hit every muscle group across like quads, hamstrings, lats, chest, shoulders, biceps, triceps, at least 2 times a week. And so you can kind of mix and match a little bit. But 2 days a week, you should do something for each of these body parts. The specific exercise, kind of whatever you want, genuinely. I'm a very, very big fan of training close to failure. Not everybody is a very, very big fan of this. This is another example of whatever you believe is the most effective workout strategy is the most effective workout strategy. We can go through 10 hours of footage of a bunch of different bodybuilders all saying, oh, this is the very best thing you can do, and I think it's crazy that anybody does anything like this. And every single bodybuilder says a different fucking plan, and every single bodybuilder looks exactly the fucking same. Doesn't matter. So I prefer training close to failure. Training close to failure, to me, my definition is the eccentric part of the movement is slower than the concentric part of the movement, and the moment that I cannot lower the weight slower than I lift it, that set is done. You want to keep good body mechanics. Like if you're doing, if you're trying to do something with your bicep, don't swing it up with momentum. Don't like twist your shoulders around to get it up. But my 2 rules are biomechanics good. I am lowering the weight slower than I am lifting the weight. And the moment I can't do that, I have failed. If you have a gym buddy, you can do assisted reps. Those are really, really good. I just don't do them because I don't have somebody who's lifting the heavy weights with me. And then if 5 to 6 times a week, so if you want to be lifting weights every single day, I would say pick a split. A split is just the accepted bodybuilder term for how you split up your workouts over the course of the week. A very, very common one that I have enjoyed is called PPL. It stands for push, pull, legs, and you repeat it twice every week. So it would mean like Monday, you do pushing movements. That's stuff like bench press. That's stuff like overhead press. That's stuff like tricep push downs. The next day is a pull day. You do like lat work. You do bicep work. Third day is leg day. Pretty obvious. And then you just repeat that. And you do that twice a week. You get 1 rest day. It's very simple. It was very effective for me. A variation I found relatively pleasurable for... What is fucking happening in my throat, dude? Anyway. A variation that I found really, really enjoyable when I did PPL is for each body part, 1 day a week was heavy, so 3 to 5 reps per set, and then 1 time a week was moderate. And I'm defining moderate as like 8 to 15 rep sets. And that's like more mental than anything. I don't even think it was not necessarily optimal for growth, but it was nice to compare to previous weeks and go, oh, okay, last week I was benching this much weight for 3. I'm going to try to bench that much weight for 4. Or I was benching this much weight for 5. I'm going to try to go up in weight and only get 3 reps. And then when you come back in later in the week, you don't have to just run your head into that wall again. You can just go, oh, well, now I'm doing like sets of 12. I would never try to do more than 2 hard sets. If you can do more than if you can do more than 2 hard sets, your sets are not hard enough. You should have warm-up sets. You should probably have around 5 total sets, like 5 total times you get under the bar or pick up a thing that has the weight and lift with it. But the first 3, you're just getting yourself ready. And then you're going to have 1 or 2 really, really difficult sets done. So if you pick your working weight and you're able to get like, if you're able to do like 4x12, not lifting heavy enough. Make it heavy until you can only do like 2x8, that type of thing. And then the last bit is, no, I'm not even gonna type it jokingly. Eat less. I was gonna type stop eating to be a little shitter, but it's not even true. You eat in a caloric deficit. That's how you get fat off you. All of the strategies that relate to like, oh my god, do this and you'll burn fat crazy. Which is stuff like fasted cardio is a really, really common one. Stuff like, oh, if you do fasted cardio, if you go into ketosis, if you volume eat, all of this shit comes back to whatever you believe is most effective is the most effective. All of these things are just stuff to try to make your quality of life higher while you starve a little bit. You can't spot remove weight. Yeah, Spellbreaker's saying. You can't spot remove weight from one area of your body. Being in ketosis is not that different. It's not that much more helpful. Doing fasted cardio or unfasted cardio doesn't matter long term. All that matters is whatever keeps your quality of life high enough that you will keep doing it. When I'm trying to lose weight, I do keto or carnivore, not because it's optimal, but because I feel better while I'm doing it. That makes it easier for me to eat less. Some people, like Xanath, love potatoes. Some people love eating a shitload of vegetables. None of it really matters as long as you're getting your fucking nutrients. Drag Queen, this stream is going to be talking about magic content. We're not going to be talking about like magic cards though. Harval GRC, thank you for the tier 1 sub for the 11th month. Welcome back to the dog home for 6 months in advance, brother. I appreciate your generosity. So a lot of people will lean on caffeine. Caffeine is a pretty good appetite suppressant. A lot of people will lean on just being really busy. Intermittent fasting is a really, really good one too. Intermittent fasting helps me a lot when I'm trying to lose weight, because if I am thinking about being hungry all the time, I will collapse. My mental will collapse. But if I know for 8 hours a day I'm allowed to eat, and the other 16 hours a day I'm supposed to be hungry, it's easier for me to mentally swallow that load. So that can be really, really helpful, especially if you do like if you go towards 1 meal a day. That was when I was trying my hardest to lose weight, I would do 1 big meal a day and then 1 snack. And then when I was hungry on the other end of the day, I would go, yeah, this is what's supposed to be happening. I'm in a calorie deficit. I'm supposed to be hungry right now. It's okay. I know that I've had enough fuel for the day. God, I wish that eating a caloric deficit didn't make me the most miserable person on planet Earth. That's where you got to play around with your food intake, right? Like maybe having salted cucumber will make you less miserable in a caloric deficit. Maybe it's rice cakes, maybe it's ketosis, maybe it's changing something about your sleep schedule. But that's why there's all these different weight loss strategies, because they're really just playing around with like what's going to make you feel better while you're not eating enough. Hold on, I gotta blow my nose. All right, anyway. And then easy stuff is always like just stop drinking calories. But the caloric deficit you probably want to be in. White bread, what's your timeline for becoming Toji Fushiguro? We're gonna do the manual ad break. Honestly, isn't one I just want to do it eventually. Then let's go pretty sustainable. And what I mean by pretty sustainable is you're gonna do an awful 8-week cut. The reason I'm gonna recommend this is if you Hi baby. Hey baby. I love you. If you are like, I want to lose weight, I'm going to set myself at a deficit. What's going to happen is to keep up the same rate of weight loss, you will have to slowly increase the deficit you are in, and eventually you will be miserable. You will not enter starvation mode. Holy shit. But you will be miserable enough that you start to not adhere to the diet. You will have less energy for your workouts. You will just, your life will just kind of suck. And so I would recommend that you do dedicated weight loss periods of like 8 to 10 weeks and no more. Try to lose weight for 8 to 10 weeks and then stop for like at least a month. Just try to maintain for a month. That again makes it a lot easier to swallow, because what will happen, especially if you've been overweight for a long period of time, you are in a pattern. And what we're trying to do is break you out of that pattern, and your brain really, really doesn't want to change. So when you introduce it, whether you're doing intermittent fasting, whether you're doing keto, whether you're doing volume eating, whatever the fuck you're doing, all your brain knows is, hey, we feel worse because we're not getting enough food. Is this our new life? And you try to tell your brain, yeah, this is our new life, but it's good. We're gonna look so fresh. And every single day, your brain's just gonna be digging through the prison wall that you've put it in. Versus if you go, it's gonna be 2 months of it being pretty bad, but we're gonna be happy with the outcome. And then we're gonna get more food again. Isn't that great? You can deal with that. Everybody can deal with that. And then the trick is just to monitor things well enough that when you go back to maintaining, you're not overeating. Maul, how long it take you to get from 260 to where you are now? What's your height? I'm 6'4". I was 260. The heaviest I've ever been is 260 pounds, and that was in 7th grade. And by... No, sorry, 8th grade. That was 8th grade. And by 9th grade, I was 170 pounds. What's the sub goal? To see kid pictures of you? I have some. Call it like 20. Did they make you play football? Yes, and I quit. I really didn't like it. So white bread, what I would say is do a cut for 8 to 10 weeks. For a cut, I would say caloric deficit of like 500 to 1,000 calories a day. This would work out to Probably air closer to 500 a day. 1,000 calories a day. I'm not even gonna put 1,000 calories a day in writing because that's really steep. I'll say 500 to 750 calories a day. And much like your actual training, you're gonna want to structure this with a split. You do not just want to go, what is my average daily intake? Cut that by 500. You want to have easy days and hard days. So I would recommend, like, in a 7-day week, probably have, and you can play around with these numbers, 2 days at maintenance. So 2 days where you're eating your like normal number of calories. I'm going to call it cal cut. Yeah. It's 500 to 750 below maintenance, not total. So if your maintenance is like 2,500, I'm talking about 2,000, 1,750. Anyway, so I'd say 2 days at maintenance, 3 days at 500 less, 2 days at 1,000 less. Easy week. And so you're going to have 2 really hard days. You're going to have 2 days where you are eating way less than normal. These are going to be the days where you want to really focus on protein, where you're going to want to make sure that you are either training relatively easy or not training at all. Like, you have less shit going on. So it's going to be easier for you to make it through the day with less energy. And then you're going to have 2 days where you get to eat normally. It's going to feel like a mini cheat day, even though it's not even a cheat day. And then 3 days a week is just, I'm eating a little bit less than normal. These are also easier to swallow than every day of my life I don't get a donut. And you can play around with that, but all that really matters is on a weekly basis, you want to cut like 3,000 to 4,000 calories out of your diet. And you can cut them out of that diet however you want. I had one friend who, when he wanted to lose weight, he would just like do a 24-hour fast once a week. Maintenance is whatever you eat to maintain your current body weight. So if you are currently gaining weight, you are above maintenance. If your weight has been stable for months, maintenance is what you eat right now. If you have been losing weight, maintenance is a little bit more than what you currently eat. Mog, these maintenance days are what's going to help make room in the diet for something like a donut. Because I assume that white bread allows themselves treats now. And so they're going to get at least 2 days a week where they can still, like, you know, enjoy some indulgences. Personal question from Soulstorming. How do I find out what my maintenance is? Fucking guess. Straight up. Like, because here's the other thing. Here's one of the great lies that nutrition influencers tell you. Or not even nutrition. Most of the nutrition influencers don't lie about this. But here's the great lie that bullshit dietitians tell you. They, like, maintenance for 90% of humans ranges from like 1,900 to 2,500 calories. For 90% of the lived human experience. There are some very, very big people and some very, very small people. But for most of us, your maintenance is somewhere between like 1,900 and 2,500. It's really not more complicated than that. You can just fucking guess and then weigh yourself every week. And if after 3 weeks you have not lost as much weight as you want to, you can be like, oh, I was wrong. I will move my maintenance number. So that's how you find out your maintenance. You guess and check. You pick a number that you think is reasonable. If you are a large adult man, I would guess like 2,500 to begin with. And I would make my cut target 2,000. So you would have 2 days at 2,500, 3 days at 2,000, 2 days at 1,500 calories. Those days are going to be hard. Let me make that clear. Those days are going to suck quite a bit. It's going to take a lot of willpower. But it is that simple. And that should, if you get it right, you should be losing like 1 to 2 pounds a week, maybe like more than 1, less than 2 pounds a week. You will see more weight loss at the beginning because you're going to lose water weight. So don't freak out if you lose like 8 pounds the first week. We're looking for longer term trends than that. Like it's at the end of the 8 to 10 weeks, you want to have lost 15 to 20 pounds would be the goal. And so if you get 4 weeks in and you haven't lost that much, either you're lying about what you've been eating or you're wrong about your maintenance, and you can fix both of those things. Doodles, thank you for the 5 streams in a row. Welcome back to the dog park. And then personal question from Soulstorming. Why don't you just go and be a dietitian? It would pay a lot more than this. There is no shot it would. Or there is no shot it has the potential to pay what this will pay. Do you have a go-to tracking method, app or otherwise? No, I would say any app, because I know this is getting more popular, any app that purports to auto track your calories using AI because you took a photo, don't fucking use that. It's wrong. It's wrong. I've seen some gymfluencers promote things like that. They're fucking dog shit. They will ruin your diet. Don't do that. Personally, I have dieted so many times that I can just fucking eyeball. Like, I know I spend all of my life being hungry. I got those Labrador genes where I am either hungry or I am so full that I am going to throw up, and I do not really have an in-between, but I have a pretty good internal locus or an internal meter for like how hungry I need to be throughout the day to be losing weight. Don't dietitians make doctor money? Yeah, well, 1, this job will make more than a doctor. 2, the median annual wage for dietitians and nutritionists was $73,850 in May 2024. That is already less than I make doing this. ZipRecruiter has it at 78,000. Nutrition.org has it between 50K and 100K. Yeah, they do not make doctor money. If you are like the dietitian for the Seahawks, yeah. If you are the diet guy for really, really rich people, you make doctor money. But that's what I would do. And this is way more fun. Do you have any specific gymfluencers you watch or avoid? I try to not watch too many gymfluencers in general because many of them are secretly red pill dumbasses, and so I try not to let them, like, even their surface level thoughts influence my brainwaves too much. I think one guy I've liked for biomechanics, he calls himself like Coach Z. Hold up, who's this guy? Ziaji Mansour. He's I've learned some decent stuff for lat activation watching his videos, but also at this point, like, I've worked out so long that I don't really need a hot tip on what to do in the gym. It's just the doing it. I would say any gym influencer that uses the term looks maxing, get him out of here. Don't listen to him for a moment. Do you have a favorite breakfast like eggs on toast with avocado, etc.? I wouldn't call it my favorite, but my standard breakfast, if I'm trying to lose weight, which I am right now, is a shitload of eggs and sriracha. I have an easier time losing weight when I am having a lot of protein and a lot of fat and not as much carbohydrate, not fully into ketosis, but not as much protein, not as much, or sorry, not as much carbs, more protein, more fat. I don't know why, but I could see you as an endocrinologist. Like, of any medical specialty, I feel like you'd make a good endocrinologist. That's, I mean, real. What, like, one of the first things I uh looked up studies for a lot on my own um was for hormones, because my hormones were dog shit for a really, really long time. And so I am certainly nowhere near the level of expertise that I would need to actually be an endocrinologist. But as far as lay people go, I know a decent amount about hormones. What's your worst temptation food? The thing that right now you need to keep 15 miles away from you, or you will undo all your hard work. Uh, I'd say most candies. I love sugar. Oh my God. I love sugar and I'm always hungry. So any food that I can just keep eating and it won't make me so full that I feel like I'm gonna throw up, I will just keep packing it away. I just won't even question it. At no point will I go like, oh yeah, I've had enough. More and more and more and more and more. How do you start working towards a dancer's physique if you are one, not a dancer, and two, pretty overweight? So the first thing to understand is that all of these like sport specific physiques are made up, because people will throw around like dancer's physique, swimmer's physique, footballer's physique, and all they're really talking about is how lean are you. So for a dancer's physique, you're talking about I'm going to be very lean. So if you're not a dancer and you're pretty overweight, you need to go on a pretty severe weight loss journey. You got to lose a lot of fucking weight. And if you just lose a lot of fucking weight and you do strength training, whether that is like, you can do calisthenics for strength training. You could do like single leg squats. You could do a bunch of push-ups. You could do a bunch of pull-ups. Like, you don't have to do it with a barbell. But as long as you do something to communicate to your muscles, hey, you need to grow, and then you don't give your body enough food, you will get a dancer's physique. Do you believe that some people simply can't get to certain body types? No, that is complete bullshit. Unless you show me a CAT scan of your ruined pituitary gland, complete bullshit. There's certainly the one caveat there is like, not everybody has the same muscle insertions. So for some people, my like, if my pecs were 20 pounds of pure muscle, they would not look exactly the same. Like, they would not have the exact same muscle shape as somebody else with 20 pounds of pectoral muscle. But when you talk about like body types, we're talking about like, can you be lean? Can you be large? Can you be in the middle? People not being able to get to those is a complete fucking myth. When will we get to see Father Mald again? I missed the red glasses. Soon, my child. I don't want to get too skinny because I'm tall. And tall skinny is a goon physique. What's wrong with being a goon? You got to talk to a friend of mine because his PT told him that he was just going to be stuck stocky forever. Yeah, that's stupid as fuck. I mean, like, you might have different proportions, right? Like, you can be like short and wide. You can be tall and wide. Like, you're like, I think it's one of those things where when I talked about maintenance calories, your maintenance calories fall between like 1900 and 2500 for most people, and some people act like their maintenance calories are 4000 fucking calories. Like when if you measure like my wingspan and my shoulders, there are guys my height whose shoulder bones, like their collarbone, are like 2 inches wider than mine. Those people will just be wider than me. But if they're talking about stocky in the sense of like, yeah, you're always going to be heavy set, yeah, that person's full of shit. Troper, thank you for the 5 streams in a row. Welcome back to the dog park, my friend. Because, yeah, and that's like, let's not completely overwrite. There are plenty of like straight up metabolic diseases you can have, chronic illnesses you can have that make it difficult, if not untenable, to change your weight by a drastic amount without having a massive blowback, like without having massive other health issues that make it not worth it. But there's no like, yeah, you're a stocky fellow. You'll never be skinny. You're just a stocky fellow. Like, man, nobody, I, it just makes me so mad. It just makes me so mad when people say that bullshit. Because we have so many examples across history of cruel fascist dictatorships like starving people to death. Nobody came out of there stocky. Like it's just not a thing. There's a thing of, do you have a metabolic disease that is going to make it medically dangerous for you to try to lose this weight? Do you have another medical issue that interferes with your caloric intake? All of these things are real hurdles, but there's no just like, oh yeah, you're an ectomorph. Yeah, this bullshit. There's no like, or you're an endomorph. That's just how you look. Not fucking true. Not fucking true. And Lightning Lodell, thank you for the 7 streams in a row. Welcome back to the dog park. Like the only thing there is to it is the longer you have been one body type, the harder it will mentally be for you to change body types because it is a pattern in your brain. It is not that your body can't do it. It is not that like your fat cells are more resistant to starvation than other people's. It is just my brain has accepted this as a pattern for a very, very long time, and so it is more mentally strenuous to break that pattern. Any tips for the Ivern build? Yeah, I would go climb in a tree and see what happens. To acquire one, that is. I would go cut down a tree and see what happens. Okay, we gotta talk about, we've been going on this for a long time. We gotta talk about my shit. Okay. Started playing MTG last month and I've been loving your content. Wanted to ask for a commander recommendation. Any color works. Yeah, Nighthawk, I got you. Thank you very much, brother. I'm going to tell you, get on that tele bullshit. Who birded? Thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. I do think that it's harder than people think to change your weight, and like if your brain is used to it, it's etched in kind of deep. I agree. I think it is harder, but simpler. A lot of people approach weight loss from the standpoint of, if I have the right system, I will be able to do it. And it's easier and harder at the same time because the system's not going to do it. It's just really hard and sucks to do, and you feel really bad for a lot of the time. And all of these systems are things that like takes the edge off. So I think people come in it from the wrong approach, where they approach it like it's actually kind of comes back to don't outthink, outplay. A lot of people will approach weight loss or fitness from the standpoint of like, well, if I just get the right plan, then it's going to go great. And that's not true. It's going to go awful no matter what your plan is. It's going to go awful and your body's going to hurt and you're going to be really tired and you're not going to want to do it for very long. And if you just do it, it's going to work out. Recommending Is It to a new player is evil. I'm being the change I want to see in the world. He is a fun and fair Is It gentleman. Please. Noinway, thank you for the tier 1 sub for the second month. What is your advice for skinny guys who want big bara titties? You gotta go, man. You gotta. Okay. I mean, big bara titties. If you want big muscles, the answer is lift really heavy weights, eat more. That's it. For now, at least, I'm stuck with a metabolism that simply does not permit me to gain weight, which I know goes against what you said about people not being away, but when I can house a full pizza in addition to other regular meals consistently, it certainly feels this way. I mean, like, strictly record your calories for like 2 weeks and then go to CERN. You don't even have to go to a hospital, go to any scientific facility in the world, and they will be begging to study you. Because, like, at the, because I have, and that is not from a place of hate, that's from a place of love. I have trained with, I have worked with in a coaching capacity many people like you, and as soon as they actually track pen and paper how much am I eating over the course of like weeks and months, suddenly it doesn't actually look like that. Because if you are doing that, right? Like if you are maintenance you're talking about my maintenance calories are dead ass 3,000. Like my BMR is 3,000 calories. Every doctor in the world wants to vivisect you. The Oli Pod, thank you for the 7 months in a row. Welcome back to the dog park. What happens a lot with people who are like, oh, the term for what you're talking about, Starry, is these people typically call themselves hard gainers. And the two answers, Christoph has one, you might have a tapeworm. Two, a lot of hard gainers invert what I'm talking about with this cutting strategy. So what I mean by that is a lot of hard gainers will have days where they eat shitloads of food. They have like rice, chicken, full pizza, Doritos bag here, case of Chips Ahoy here. Like you eat 4,000 to 5,000 calories in a day. It's insane. You're like a fucking mongoose. And then you go back to eating normally. And what you don't notice, because we're not tracking religiously, is you're eating normally the rest of the week is actually far enough below maintenance that on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, it all evens out. I've seen that with like double-digit individuals who presented themselves as hard gainers who couldn't gain weight. And every time, if we just like tracked over a period of multiple weeks, and we were like, yeah, but is this every day, or did you do this Monday and Thursday, and that's it? It was like, oh wow, I've put on 10 pounds. Because people like me, I have a very hard time. I tend to struggle a lot losing weight. I have the same thing happen if I ease up on my tracking. I'll have 1 day, I'll have 2 days in a week where I'm very good with my restriction. And then the other 5 day, and then the other 5 days, I'm not so good. And if I track religiously, it evens out. Yeah, Lila, people wildly underestimate. If you are not used to food tracking, people wildly, not even under, like they just misestimate. They just get wrong how many calories they have eaten in a given day. I've been doing keto for fat loss, but my GF wants me to have cake on her birthday Monday. How much progress do I lose if I eat a slice? You lose one slice of cake progress. That's it. You go out of keto for one day, you have lost 1 day of ketosis. Doesn't matter. And here's the crazy thing. If you eat that slice of cake on Monday, and then on Tuesday, you eat one slice of cake worth fewer calories than you would have in normal ketosis, you have lost no progress. Like magic. So you can okay. You can eat, I don't know how much calories are in one slice of cake, maybe like depending on the cake, like and how big the slice is, like 200, 300. If you have 200 fewer calories the day before Monday, you have 300 fewer calories the day before Monday, you have lost zero progress. What it's going to feel like you've lost is you're going to feel really bad yo-yoing out of ketosis and back into it. That's going to suck, but that's not actually lost progress. And then there we go. Don't forget, chat, activity massively factors into this. I was on a 5,000 calorie diet for 3 months in boost camp and lost 40 pounds. Took me a month and a half of double food to get 30 pounds back. Yes. Yeah, the amount of, this is for like, I'm not doing cardio. The numbers I'm throwing out are I'm not doing a lot of cardio. All I'm doing is like a 45-minute to 1 hour weightlifting session a few times a week. If you're super, super active, your calories go way up. If you like walk a ton, like every, a good heuristic I got, which probably not, it's not incredibly precise, but it is like good enough, check mark. Every mile you move is about 100 calories. Whether you are, walking or running, every mile you have ambulated yourself is about 100 calories of energy expenditure. Sir Tennis Coach, your senior tennis coach, thank you for the Prime sub. Welcome to the dog home. What was the plan for today before workout stream? I was going to talk content strategy because I have some ideas about that. Yeah. If you're fluctuates for weight, incline, etc. Yeah, but not that much. Like the amount of it fluctuates for incline because of fucking trigonometry. Like if hold on. Like if I go, here's 1 mile, and then another person does it at like this, and even if both vectors are 1 mile long, the person who does it on an incline has both walked 1 mile horizontally and some unknown vertical distance that is additional work. So those fluctuations are both true and not really worth keeping track of, I've found. Like you'll just burn your brain out if you try to get it completely precise. And then like your body weight, same thing. I would say your body weight has a greater and greater effect if you are doing incline stuff, because then you have to move your body weight up, which is very, very hard if you're very heavy. I've heard a general thing is that people overestimate how unhealthy any particular food is and underestimate how unhealthy their diet is. You are 100% correct. The average person, if they look at something like a fast food burger or they look at like a donut, they will massively overestimate how deleterious it is to their diet to have that one thing, and they will massively underestimate how often they have things like that in their normal diet. You mentioned a bit back that your hormones are pretty bad before. Do you have any advice for somebody looking to learn about that, or maybe just the top thing you learned? Advice for somebody looking to learn about that, I would make sure you are only going off of published studies. There is a lot of really bad information out there. Now, as somebody with plenty of information that's definitely good and cool, and I'm not going to sell you in a course at all, number one thing I learned for making sure your hormones are healthy: get protein, get sunlight, get sleep, have intense physical activity at least once a week. Those 4 things. You will fix 90% of hormone issues in the world that are not caused by a malfunctioning pituitary gland or some other type of like disease. You will fix with those 4 things, nothing else. Like, there's other stuff that can help, but if you do sunlight, sleep, food, exercise, you're going to get most of the way there. What is your recommendation to track calories? Well, like I said, now it's pretty easy for me because I've done it so long that I can just kind of eyeball stuff and know whether I'm going to be gaining weight or losing weight. God, I really don't want. I've been mistreated for so much of my life by people who over relied on just like, oh, we'll just try harder. For calories, though, like you just have to try harder. Like, if you're having a hard time tracking your calories, it just means that tracking your calories is not that important to you. And that's okay. It doesn't have to be important for everybody to have like a fucking Toji Fushiguro build. That's not the ultimate joy in life. Like, bodybuilders are deeply, deeply unhealthy type of shit. But like, the only thing I can recommend from the standpoint of like what is a system that can help is try 1 meal a day. You know what makes it very, very easy to track your calories? You only eat 1 fucking time. So all you have to do is track your calories for that 1 meal, and you're done. Well, many of them are like, I mean, many of them are deeply, deeply unhappy while they're cutting, for sure. But if your friends have like really hard time focusing and they want to just snack throughout the day, they're fucked. Straight up. Don't do it. You're fucked. You're not going to be able to do it. It is going to require such incredible willpower and focus to manage that tracking that other parts of your life are going to fall apart, or you're going to give up on it in like a week. So if you have a really hard time focusing and you still want to try to track your calories, I would go down to like 1 meal a day or 2 meals a day and stop eating snacks. And that will make it easier. I don't like to go to the gym, but I work at UPS, so I'm lifting varying weights all day, but I'm also sitting down driving more than half the time. Do you think that's a valid substitute? Substitute for like weight training? Definitely not. It is some level of physical activity, which is good. You probably need more. You don't have to go to the gym. I would do like push-ups at home. Like, you can get, God, Tom Platz would kill me if he knew who I was or heard this. But you can get really big legs with 0 weight. God forbid you have 20 pounds. If you get good at one-legged squats, you can build honking legs just off of one-legged squats. So like, go for walks at home, do push-ups, find some. I mean, I think the hardest thing to build without access to a gym is your back. Because you need to be able to do like a pull-up, you need to be able to row something heavy. Those are like the hardest things to do with no equipment. because modern door frames are not built for modern bodies. Would it be easier to measure the whole calories for the day and then divide that into how many times you want to eat during the day, Mauled? That would be a way to do it. It would probably be unsatisfying. The way I would plan it is you always need at least one meal a day, or most people do better if they have one meal a day that it feels really satisfying for them. So I would not just divide my calories evenly amongst the number of times I wanted to eat. I would plan good, healthy meal that I like. Good, healthy meal that I like. How much do I have left over? That's whatever. If you're a snacky person who wants to eat more often, I would not just be like, okay, if I have 100 points of energy, I'm going to go 33, 33, 33, or 25, 25, 25, 25, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, you know, whatever it is. I would be like, 45 points are in breakfast because I love a good breakfast. 45 points are in dinner because I love a good dinner. Middle of the day, 10-point snack. I'm using arbitrary made up numbers, obviously, but that is how I would approach it. I would not go for an even split. Cyborg, thank you for the 15 months in a row. Welcome back to the dog home. I appreciate that generosity. Yeah, not like Zolito again has got it. 90% of this is just having the willingness to iterate. So much of weight loss can be solved with guess and check. Instead of coffee, which zero sugar monster suffice to suppress hunger. Any caffeine will work as an appetite suppressant. I would not recommend leaning on things like Monster Energy for it, because it's very likely that you will come out the other end with, you know, a tummy that you like more, and you will be hopelessly addicted to caffeine. Having recently had to wean myself off of the sweet, sweet tit of the white Monster, I would not recommend leaning on it heavily. The human body can, I mean, research supports that the human body can withstand like one white Monster a day, kind of in perpetuity. I don't even drink that much anymore. I feel much better off drinking less than that. But based on the available evidence, you could have one white Monster a day every day, rest of your life. You would probably be fine. But what I have found is when people lean on stuff like that, they usually tend to drink more and more and more and more. Like, I have some friends who are like, yeah, I drink 3 Monsters a day. They drink 3 Monsters a day, they sleep 6 hours a night, and then they have the gall to tell me that they have trouble focusing. Of course you do, brother. You have like 10% of your blood is poison. No wonder you can't fucking focus. Now, this is all good and all, but what about you do a push-up for every missed minion in League? That would be interesting. I think doing that many push-ups would fuck up my shoulder. I have an old shoulder injury that I'm still trying to get over. If I could, because I used to try to do stuff like that, and the problem has always been when I try to do high volume of a given movement, I get injured. I try to do it with squats, hurt my back. Like my quads and hamstrings can keep going, but my like SI joint, I fuck up the biomechanics and I start impinging my nerves and shit. Sciatica acts up, I'm on the floor. Push-ups, again, I start like fucking up the nerve in this shoulder capsule, on the floor. And so I don't really have an exercise. I don't have an exercise that I can just spam and not get injured. Like, there's pain of soreness. I'm fine with being crazy sore because Twitch chat made me do something. I want to be able to feel my like genitals and feet though. What about pre-workout? I've heard that used for getting in the gym more. I used to be a bigger fan of pre-workout than I currently am. Because now, hold on. Pre-workout bad. Why? Energy drink companies are currently having a cold war. They have been steadily and steadily upping the amount of stimulants that they have in the average pre-workout to the point where a lot of the popular pre-workouts now will have 200 to 400 milligrams of caffeine. That is in fucking sane. It won't kill you outright the moment you take it, but it's way more than you need, and it's way more than you should be having on a regular basis. So if you could find a pre-workout that either did not have a stimulant in it, or typically these ones are now called low stim, like yeah, pre-workout is gradually evolving into Panera lemonade. That is what's happening. That's what's going on. What's the point of caffeine for pre-workout? Never really been a gym person. Caffeine is very well established to improve athletic performance in basically every arena. You will be able to lift heavier. You will be able to run longer. You will be able to swim faster. Like whatever the thing you're doing, caffeine will make you better at it. Which is why we abuse it so much. Like it's not, oh my God, we're all abusing this thing that doesn't. It's like a lot of kids these days. Ugh. But a lot of children now don't understand smoking because they don't understand that smoking makes you high. And so they thought everybody was just smoking straight cancer sticks just because they thought it looked cool. When it's like, no, this is a drug. And it's a drug that works. And it has positive effects. And that's why everybody takes so fucking much of it. What happens if you're cursed to have caffeine make you sleepy? You just don't have caffeine. There's no problem. Would you be interested in doing a box opening, box roast of the TMNT set if somebody covered the cost of the box? I would not. Z might be, and Z would probably have me do it with them because we have fun doing that stuff together. Interesting. So does caffeine count as a performance-enhancing drug? Yes. It is just a legal PED. Like the bar for what the IOC and the anti-doping agencies across the world consider like bad drugs is not anything that makes you better. Their bar for a thing that is a bad drug is drugs that poor people can't afford, and so it introduces a like bias towards wealthier nations because wealthier nations can afford them, and things that have really dangerous side effects. So caffeine is pretty well tolerated. We have now pushed it to the limit where we are operating on that tolerance line, and we're having things like Panera Lemonade happen. We're having people who have heart attacks because they take too much pre-workout. But for the most part, like the human body is pretty tolerant of caffeine and responds pretty well and is pretty okay over a long period of time. Now, things like super physiological doses of testosterone, of trenbolone, of EPO, of peptides, which is a catch-all term for not investigative, experimental scientific compounds. Those side effects are way, way worse, and they're way more expensive. Did you know there are companies who sell their gum with 100 milligrams of caffeine in bulk since it's what they give the MIC? That's crazy. That's fucked. Jesus, Jomi. Any good tips regarding creatine, by the way? Do or don't? Do. Creatine is like the safest, most efficacious athletic compound we have ever found. Like, in the history of the world, nothing is tolerated better, has a more consistently positive effect, is cheaper to get your hands on. Everybody could improve their lives by taking creatine. I cannot think of a single category of person other than like newborn baby where it's not a good idea to take creatine. Is the creatine hair loss stuff a myth? Yeah, most hair loss stuff is. Fletchendary, you might be able to. Taste buds are really weird. Some people have very, very sensitive noses, very, very sensitive tongues. I can't taste caffeine, but I do believe that caffeine does have a taste. It's just normally overridden by all the other stuff in the drink. There's a decent chance you can. I think decaf coffee tastes a little bit different than caffeinated coffee. So yeah, you probably can. I've seen some athletes, even some footballers, that put a bag of something between the gums and the cheeks, and I believe is some sort of legal stimulant. Maybe it's caffeine. Have you seen it, Mauled? I know baseball players usually put like chewing tobacco in. Tobacco is I believe tobacco is a stimulant. I'm not 100% on that. I know it gets you high. Hold on. Yeah, nicotine's a stimulant. So it's like tobacco pouches. Really fucking bad for you. Super fucking bad for you. But is a legal stimulant. Do not do it. Super not worth it. Like the the tier list of stuff you can take goes like creatine is S tier, healthy doses of caffeine are A tier. There's a lot of like every other like health supplement is B tier, and then down in like F tier is tobacco pouches. What league champs do you want to see in Riftbound? I want to see them do Nasus proud. I think it'll be very hard for them to do that because Nasus is a weird champion, and like I think the infinite stacking mechanic probably won't translate well. But God, do I love Nasus. What does tobacco do to enhance your performance? It has nicotine, which is a stimulant. Stimulants generally enhance your performance because they improve your focus, reaction time, and generally how much of a zip you got. So a bit of blow, C tier, F tier, dog, please. Please. Okay, I gotta use the bathroom. We're gonna rerun the manual ad break, and then we're actually gonna do the content strategy that this stream was supposed to be about. Sounds good. Why do people use it to calm down? Uh, Drugs are complicated, okay? I mean, plenty of stimulants help people feel more. I'm trying to think of a more scientific way to say getting high feels good, even if it's technically a stimulant. How do you feel about the best off of champion cards? I feel like there are going to be people that don't play to win, but play to get as high as they can with a bad champion just so they can get one of those cards, especially since people are buying them for 10K. Insanity that a card is worth enough to get a nice car. I think it's probably good. I think that that is a pretty solid mechanic to encourage people to try different shit, because this is a relatively accurate scientific depiction of how a card game meta gets established. We go, oh my god, Draven, he's doing so good, look at him. And then you get 8 fucking million more Dravens. People will talk a very, very big game about Brewer's advantage, about trying new things, but when it comes down to it, whether it's Riftbound, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic, a lot of people go, holy fuck, that worked, get me one. I want one, now, please. And so I think that it's a good thing that Riftbound is having an external motivator for like, hey, if you do anything at all with a really weird champion, you will get this big fucking prize. Because that will encourage people to innovate more. Like, it's the same thing we're doing with the rampless stompy thing, where I am trying to financially motivate people to do something new. It will not be as good as the like most powerful thing ever, but it might be better than we think. Like the guy who's playing Garen at the Vegas like pre-RQ whatever, yeah, that guy just wants the card. But I think there's a lot of things where even though they're not as good as the best, they're better than you would believe listening to YouTube shorts. Christmas, thank you for the 85 streams in a row. Welcome back to the dog park. Zolidio, it's going to be on the day of. We are going to have rolling waves of 30 decks that we review. You cannot submit ahead of time. Yeah. Thoughts on Redshift Rocketeer Chief for the review? I'm not telling you fucking anything for the review. We are setting up the rules, and I am not giving any thoughts on any of the specific ways you do it. Oh, Zoltio, yeah. New player here was wondering what exactly Stompy means. Is it just big creatures winning by combat damage? Yeah, big creatures hit people. That's Stompy. March 14th, Zoltio. Okay. Let's do the stuff I sat down to do. What is it? I got the word. Yeah. All right, so the content strategizing I have to do today is I'm getting fucking killed in skits. It's brutal. My skits are fucking so much worse than all of the people that I want to do so much better than. And I need to, or I think it would be helpful for me to simplify the way I am approaching them. Because the problem that I am having when I try to do a script nowadays is I try to outthink rather than outplay. I try to write specific words in the script that I think will sell the idea so well that people will have no choice. Where people have no choice but to enjoy the thing I put in front of them. And I think the reality is I am being M. Night Shyamalan derogatory. Like I am trying too hard to be clever over and over and over again. And I've talked about this before, but I think I have a new actionable way to change that, which is I think I have to not abandon, but move away from wordsmithing, which is a very, very hoity-toity word for writing different words, which is what I currently do. But I think the problem right now I'm not emoting well enough. That's been a problem my entire life. Part of that is getting better at acting, but I think too many of my scripts start from a place of like, what are the words that I need to say and not what is the feeling that I need to communicate. And so what I'm going to do, or what I think I should do, is that in a given line of dialogue, the dialogue doesn't actually matter. All that matters is, and I would like this to be bigger, thank you. Dialogue doesn't matter. All that matters is adjective plus outcome. And I think every line, yeah, that's what I'm trying to talk through right now. Army Hitch. Who the fuck's, oh, Tony Toji. Yeah. Like I am trying to write clever words, and they are just committing 100% to what is the adjective and outcome. And an example of adjective and outcome is like wary acceptance. Yeah, we're focusing too much on the details. Like when I try to, if I was going to write, we'll do this in Paint. And I think I'll record this for Vodhound too. So right now, the problem that I'm having with my skits is if I am trying to write a line of dialogue where the upshot of that dialogue is the wary acceptance of one character. So like you've been invited on a journey, you've been asked to allow a Rule 0 card, they've asked to use a custom card, and I need to get a line of dialogue that communicates, I'm okay with this, but I'm nervous. I spend all my time trying to pick the perfect words that communicate that. People like Zach the Bold, he tends to pick the perfect lighting that communicates that. So obviously, he does a lot more right than that, but if I'm going to be incredibly reductive, I would say that's one of his strongest points, is he will pick the lighting and he will pick the shot angle that most clearly communicates, I am worried but on board. Because at times he will even like change the set, right? There's been a few of his skits that will go to like old man on the farm, guy trapped in the tub, that will lean on like movie tropes. And then I think Tony, so I'll do a little Z for this, I'll do a little M here, and I'll do a little T for Tony. Tony tends to do, he's really like authentic with his character acting. Like he, I'll say Tony is like the epitome of acting and facial expressions. Like the way he is carrying his body, the way the characters are looking around, the way he is moving his body, all that type of shit. I'm not drawing from my wrist, which I know I need to do. Oh man. I've gone a week without doing drawing practice and now my MS Paint is dog shit. Um and so every time I try to make a skit, I'm focusing on the words and I'm getting fucking murdered every time. Now I'm using Tony and Zach. There are probably hundreds of examples of people I could pull out as who does skits better than me. And that's okay. I'm just trying to get better. But I think just looking at these two examples, it's very clear that I can probably get an edge over them on words if I'm very, very clever with my words. But the entire skit can't just be my fucking word selection. And I've been seeing, I don't remember the channel name, but I've been seeing skits recently where it's like Magic the Gathering skits about fucked up and evil decks. And I tried to divorce myself visually from what was happening in front of me, and I just paid attention to the words. And it's good that I don't remember the channel because this would now seem rude, but I was like, oh, this script fucking sucks. Not, maybe not fucking sucks. That's probably too harsh, but like this script is nothing. This script is like the most straightforward, uninteresting, uncreative thing that could ever happen. And it's better than 95% of the scripts that I have ever written because its head is not stuck up its own ass like mine so commonly are. And so I believe that the fix to that is I have to try writing scripts that are in this format and not let myself write words. I think the only time dialogue matters, so I'll put an unless here, unless it's a pun. If I have a pun that I am lining up, or a reference. If I am referencing pop culture, if I'm referencing another piece of media, if I am referencing a meme or something, then I think the specific dialogue matters. And I think if it's not a reference or a pun, the words just aren't anything. Yes, Hitch, you're getting to the second point that I want to talk about is the two speeds of doing a skit. And this is another thing I have to get better at. So let's go. We'll say good. We're going to do good, good, and mine. We want two good examples, and then we want what Mauled currently does on his flops. Which means we're going back to MS Paint. I think good, and we'll say this is U for unreasonability, and this is T for time during the skit. Go up. You have an unreasonable character and a reasonable character, and you just have the unreasonable character double down harder and harder and harder. And you can have variations on this where it's like, hey, from the word go, we're fully fucking committed, and it just never changes. You can't really have the inverse of that. Like, you can't have no commitment, no commitment, no commitment, because nobody's watching by the end of that. So this will be one of our goods. I think another example of good that I could work with is the parabola. And you kind of have to have a steep cliff. I mean, unreasonability is probably not the right word. This is likely better represented as a vector diagram than as a graph. So Just kind of accept that we're working in estimates. So maybe we'll do C for commitment. Like commitment to the bit. Commitment over time. So the other thing that works really well is heavy, 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 heavy commitment, twist at the end. Like invert it. Have the character who has been a complete goofball the entire skit deadpan something to the camera, and hopefully that something is funny. Have somebody break character, do the opposite of what they've been doing the whole time, or do something that is like the opposite in a meta sense. Like, no, the correct verbiage for this is invert the emotion. No. It's not necessarily a fourth wall break. Fourth wall breaks are using this graph, but the example I'm thinking of is Zach the Bold. Zach the Bold has a video with Moist Critical like a year ago, and it's somebody watching you play your deck. And it opens with Zach's character being like, this is one of my favorite decks, I love it very much. And then Moist Critical goes and stands behind him, and he just like misplays everything. And so the emotion that we are feeling is the shame and the pressure for Zach's character. And then the end, he passes his turn, and somebody else does a misplay, and he immediately corrects them, having forgotten all of the shame that he just went through. Okay, yes. Yeah. Then we are aligned. So this is the other example of good. You can either escalate, or escalate, and then, bitch, what do you mean? Okay. Well, we remember what this one is. And then mine, I would say, even if I'm being charitable to myself, I would say mine look like that. It's not that I'm never committed, but most of my commitment happens just through words. My commitment does not, I don't commit with the lighting. I don't commit with set changes. I don't commit with costume changes. Although costume changes are relatively infrequent. We're just like kind of in it, and I'm hoping that you appreciate the cleverness of the wording, and it's typically not enough. So I think what I want to do now is look at some of the content I've recently published and figure out what would it look like to move them from this graph to the good graphs. Because the thing standing in between me and being able to film as many skits as I want is being able to get 1 million views on a video. If I could do that, the videos would make enough money that it would be entirely reasonable for me to just like sit around and try to come up with a new skit in my free time. And that would be awesome. The only reason I don't do it now is because I would be out of rent money after like a month of that. So let's grab one that just flopped. Let's grab this one. All right, show of hands. Who saw this video? Skits are your preferred content? I wouldn't say preferred in terms of like the only thing I like to make, but I like making them, and I think they are the thing that I do the worst right now. So I think it is reasonable for me to focus on improving my craft with them. Great, hand. We've all seen it. Thank you all very much. Now, it's doing dog shit. This is criminally bad. Average view duration is kind of whatever, but 73% stayed to watch, 27% swiped away. That's horrific. And here's something fun. On top of that, I get to be confused. Let me see if my browser is logged. Oh my god, I'm not logged in. Hold on. Yeah, you know, doesn't matter. Okay. Please play it so we can all be on the same page. Okay. Oh, no audio? What the fuck? Oh, I think I turned my headphones off because I was doing a deck review. Okay. Audio should be back.
Shadowfax is... I'm gonna swing Shadowfax at you. Ooh, can't let that happen. I'll exile him. No, you won't. How are you protecting him? You tapped out and I don't see him equipped with anything. Oh, Michael. Horses don't stop. They keep going. What does that even mean? Young Thug said that, you know. That is not the question I asked. What's Shadowfax's creature type, Michael? I am not engaging in this bit. It's too late. How? The entire time we've been speaking, I've been steadily advancing Shadowfax across your board, and now he has reached your lands, allowing me to promote him to Queen Shadowfax, destroying everything on your board. The trans agenda. I can't believe the crazy son of a bitch actually did it. You shouldn't. That isn't a rule. None of this is how things work in Magic. Quick show of hands if this is how we want it to work in Magic. Great. Silly Michael. So worried about your rules, it seems you forgot about Rule 0. Those aren't even sunglasses. You didn't even do the bit right. Nope. You got me. I scoop. Good game. Cool. Great game. Thank you, everybody. Are you coming to the funeral Saturday? Funeral? Oh my god. Who passed away? Rest in peace, my granny. She got hit by a bazooka. I'm gonna swing shot.
Okay. So now that we have all caught up, we understand. The premise of this bit. Right, this feels like 25 references I didn't get. So let's talk through how this did not fit into what I should be doing and how to make it fit into what I should be doing. I think the funniest part was the trans agenda. Now, of course, that was a fucking ad-lib. That was not in the script. That was a thing. I was like, oh, I guess if I say Queen Shadowfax, that's like we're transing the horse. That would be funny. Yeah. So the ad-lib was solid, not what I fucking wrote. What I wrote and the premise of the skit. So let's go MTG. Is it too many jokes all at once, maybe? There I was. I think you're close. We're going to talk about that in a moment. MTG, but it's brain rot post-mortem. The only reason I filmed this skit was because the rest in peace my granny. No, Wendy's, that's not it. The only reason I filmed this skit was because the rest in peace my granny, she got hit by a bazooka, was stuck in my head, and I had seen a lot of memes on Instagram with horses don't stop, they keep going. And I was like, wow, these are such stupid memes. Surely I can make a video out of this. That was it. So problem here. I started from words. I started from words and I did not start from feelings. I think if I had, like, I eventually tried to graft the correct feelings of the confused other player onto the words. Yeah. The fact that people didn't get the memes is genuinely, like, I think it matters, but I think it is less important than you all think it is. I think I could have a video where all one character said was nonsense. I think the reason this video didn't work is because I did not commit hard enough to the feelings of nonsense. So let me provide one example of how I think I could have fit this short into this graph. I think the correct move, or at least a better move, could have would have been the moment he said, "Horses don't stop, they keep going," goes back to the other player. He goes, "What?" And I think I should have put every character in plastic horse heads and been blasting the music and just done a bunch of like super fucking quick cuts with one guy begging for this to be explained to him and the other three just saying like random brain rot things. Like I could have had me in a horse head in a different shirt doing the 6-7 hand move. So like 5 to 8 seconds of turbo stupid shit. And then it cuts back to the main player and he stops moving in the horse head and like deadpans and goes, "Oh, and I had deflecting SWAT." And I think that would have done better. I don't think that's as funny, but I think the internet would have found it more funny because it would have been, even if you did not understand what the fuck "horses don't stop, they keep going" means, you would at least have the context of this is an incredibly stupid, irrational bit that everybody but me is committed to. And then we could have inverted it at the end. No, Lemon, that has nothing to do with brain rot. It has everything to do with the commitment graph. Like we wouldn't have got the trans agenda line, which I think was a great ad lib. We wouldn't have tied in the "rest in peace my granny" bit. But I think the reason that works, is this video was half-hearted commitment to a number of different sentences versus 100% commitment to the feeling of being out of the loop on an internet bit. Like that was when I think about why I wanted to film it and I think about why I wanted to use those memes, it was because I felt like an old man. I felt out of the loop. I was like, I know not what the children are up to. I only know that I do not like it. And so what I should have done is 100% commit to that feeling. 100% commit to that feeling of confusion. And the moment he says "horses don't stop, they keep going," people who know the meme know what I'm doing. People who don't know the meme are like, "What the fuck does that mean?" They're now the confused people. And then we just keep making it weirder and weirder, and we keep throwing enough things that are obvious brain rot references, like 6-7. I would have had to look up other brain rot memes. And then it can end with an invert of that, of like, "Oh no, I have a totally normal answer to the thing you tried to do." And I think that's how we put this video onto the right graph. One skit of yours that I really like is the Monstrous Rage band skit. Yeah, that one I really, really enjoy, but it did bad. I think it was just too. Actually, no, I refuse to accept that. Like this skit did okay. It's really not good enough. Um Takebacks and Commander did fine. So let's look at what's another one that did like bad that I thought was gonna do good. This is just me yapping, me yapping, me yapping. Oh yeah, this one did awful. And I thought it was gonna be okay.
I just don't feel like I have anybody in my life.
It's been so long since I it has been so long since I heard this one that I actually have to turn audio on. The Goblin skit was not great, unfortunately. It was also really bad. We can look at the Goblins one too.
I just don't feel like I have anybody in my life I can rely on. You know?
Okay. So what am I doing with that hook? The words on the screen are meant to convince you that something weird is going to happen. Let's look at the data. Did people look for whatever weird thing was going to happen? Fuck no. Holy shit, no. Therapist one was also very good. I think the algorithm just hates you doing actual good stuff. That's not true. Super not true. If like the algorithm is people. What the algorithm hates is the algorithm hates you doing stuff people don't want to watch. And so what the algorithm hates is anything where the first 5 seconds is bad. Because you never get an opportunity to deliver your punchline. You never get an opportunity to deliver your character work. I think genuinely the problem here is I think I should have had no caption. Yeah. Ooh, I'm feeling it now. Let's talk about captioning. A problem that I get into quite a lot is I hate when I know exactly what a video is going to be about. I scroll past those videos nearly instantly. I don't engage with articles like that. I don't engage with long form YouTube videos that do that. And what I did with this caption, this one, when your therapist plays MTG, nobody knows what the fuck that means, right? Like if I locked you in a room and I said like you have 60 seconds to tell me what I think a video of that is going to be about, you're like, you could come up with guesses. You would probably get pretty close. You might even figure out like that there was going to be a pun involved or something like that. But you don't immediately have a concrete idea of the tropes the video is going to rely on or what the ending is going to be. Versus, I think a lot of like Tony and Zach's videos, they're using very basic captioning or premises where we've all felt this. We have a pretty good idea of what this is about. Whether it's like when somebody watches you play Magic. I think another one of Zach's shorts is like playing with a group hug player. I saw Tony's Toji short that was like when you buy a bunch of clothes or like trying on clothes that looked good in the store and then they look dog shit when you get home. Like those are relatively universal experiences. I think people know within 2 seconds the path they think the video is going to take. And those videos tend to do better. Because we look at an example of one of mine that did well. All right, where the fuck you at? Or we'll even do okay. I think this one did okay. This was titled Trying a New Format, and it was about doing Chaos Draft with Ben Bateman. And this got like 400,000 views, which I need to be playing for 1 million. But this is at least an example of something that did relatively well. And what was your... Yeah, stayed to watch. For something this old, this usually falls the older and older you get. Average view duration, entirety of the skit. Sick. And this was one where trying a new format, what's going to happen? The guy is going to be confused. And that was what happened in a skit. I tried a new format, and I was confused, and I did badly. Words barely mattered. It was relatable, and the moment you saw the opening text, you were like, I know the emotion the author is going to try to make me feel watching this. Great. Give me video. This one also veers into what the fuck do you mean? What do you mean playing Magic after scrolling? To me, it's obvious because I'm the one who came up with the motherfucking skit. But to everybody, to a lot of people, huh? And I think huh is the worst possible response you can get from whatever your like opening frame, opening hook is. And I think when your therapist plays MTG, huh? And so, and then Sauron's asking, wait, is this shit why so many videos start with an in media res that's just the punchline because people don't give anything a chance to play out? Yes. That is the evolutionary pressure we are all under. Is if you cannot establish what your punchline is going to be in the first 3 seconds, your video probably does bad. The only caveat to that, or punchline is too aggressive of a term. If you cannot establish the feeling that you are focusing on in the first 2 seconds, done. Gone. Not looking at it. Which is really frustrating and difficult if you want to feel like you're a clever, clever boy, which is what I want to feel like. But I don't get to feel like a clever, clever boy in the first 5 seconds of a video. Like the titty mummy one. Yes, even that is not working, I think, because it's like a stream short. We're going to be continuing to iterate with those. All of those are doing pretty bad. Here's a really good example of this, by the way. This is the final mulligan. This was, I think we filmed this during or right around the subathon. And if you look at the retention graph, I lose like everybody in the first like 15 seconds. And in the first like 10 to 15 seconds, almost nothing is happening. There is no dialogue in the first 10 seconds of this video. I looked at this the week after I had published it, and I looked at the analytics, and I was like, how the fuck did I publish that and not realize what I had done? And I think it was because I thought the caption was going to carry enough, but it was just the keys didn't jingle. It's too much silence. Joey Bug, the titty mummy thing was just a custom card. Somebody submitted a relatively horny artwork custom card. Meanwhile, this was a fantastic setup by usual comedy standards. Yes and no. I think this was a good setup for... Yeah, baby girl? One of my cats is yelling. I think it was a really good setup for the middle of a video. I think I could have had 7 seconds of silence. I could have had this really long... Hi, baby girl. Oh, yeah, you want... So pretty. Come here. Who's so... Oh, you're so big now. You're so big and huge. Anyway. I think if I had gotten people to buy in, they would have accepted the couple seconds of silence. But I think that the words on screen again were not enough to make them buy in because the words on screen did not communicate a clear enough emotion. Oh, you're purring? Yeah, you just wanted some love, huh? Obviously, your skits need more kitties in them to make them a success. Probably, yeah. Hi, baby girl. You're such a pretty kitty. Danon, what is the advice you want? I mean, Army Hitch, you're correct, but also that is the difference between outthink and outplay. Oh, just wondering if you have a fourth? No. Do you get maybe 7 seconds to establish relatability without text? No, you get, I would say 3. I think you get 7 if you have a really big fan base and they trust you. But I think for the most part, like me right now, I get 3. If in 3 seconds I have not established this is what the video is about and this is a relatable thing you will enjoy, video's dead. So let's hypocrite, it looks like you did. Let's just start grabbing relatable human experiences and then seeking to translate them into Magic the Gathering. And I will get a list of skits I want to try to work on in the coming week. There is betrayal. There is pride. There is shame. Hypocrite, thank you for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. That's incredibly kind of you. Welcome to Dog Heaven, my friend. Are shorts even worth it? Yes, if you make really good ones. I mean, hold on. Here are my 3 most successful shorts ever. It is a follow-up I did to Nethroy. It's like a combo explanation video. Adder, thank you for the Prime sub. Welcome to the dog home, my friend. Combo explanation video. Made $260. This is a skit with Z about skipping rule 0, which I think like very obvious from the get-go. Did pretty well. Made $200. And this is the Commander Roast of Bossing Say. Did $240. People like Zach and Tony will see 10 times the success on their shorts. So it's worth it if you can crack it. Because if you can figure out how to reliably get 1 million views, maybe not on the basis of get 1 million views on every short you make, but on get multiple 1 million plus view shorts on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, yeah, it's totally worth it. If you can't, not worth it at all. It's a thing of like it sucks for a really, really long time, but when you get past a certain point, it's a fucking money printer. And I'm trying to figure out how to make it a money printer. And right now, my very, very best performances, hell yeah, money printer. My not so good performances, go fuck yourself. Like, that's what's going on. $52% from the short speed. Oh my god, so like half your viewers are dependent on doom scrollers. Yeah, no wonder it's so cutthroat. Yeah. Yeah, that's why. Because it's, what is it? I mean, 71% of people are on their phone. Can I even, where can I even see shit like that? Yeah, 52% short speed, 22% are clicking in from like the YouTube homepage. So that means the thing they're clicking on is the title and the thumbnail. So that's about 3/4 of the audience have to be doom scrolling through and like the first 3 seconds enough to stay, or have to click on my dumb little face. What is your subscriber percentage? I mean, on this video, it's going to be different. Let me pull up. It is 53% are subscribed, 46% not subscribed. Well, yeah, Danon, but that just depends on how big your channel is and how big the video's reach gets, right? Like, the bigger your channel is, the harder and harder it is to get people who are not subscribed to be watching your video. How about a skit about those people who care a lot about having the best Papa Requiem? That is very kind, and there's the additional constraint of, like, if you guys are watching this stream, you are in the top 1% of Maulhound fans. Probably even higher than that. How much? You are in the top 0.08 percentile of Maulhound fans if you watch this stream. Just in terms of, on balance, how dedicated you are to watching my content. And I appreciate you all very, very much. But it does mean that you guys are biased to, like, you guys are the people who align the most with my sense of humor. And so us being like, oh, well, I thought it was really good. I was going to watch the video to the end. Yep. Because I make videos I would watch and enjoy. So anything that I talk about that is from the standpoint of, like, how do we change the videos for this, is how do we change it for somebody who's not in the stream right now? Because if you're in the stream right now, or if you are a regular stream viewer, maybe you are someone who has happened in from Twitch chat, but if you are a regular stream viewer, you already like the bad version. No, old head. Let's not risk the echo chamber nature of saying, like, oh my god, we have to appeal to normies, we have to appeal to the short attention span, because we talked about how the horses don't stop, they keep going could have been better, and we basically all agreed, oh yeah, that would have been better, and it would have appealed to the normies as well. Yeah, you mean the not ardent fans. That is the one spot where I'm just saying, let's be specific with our language, because it's very, very easy for... This is more about, I guess, me not poisoning my own brain than you doing anything actually offensive, because the thing that happens a lot with the level of success that I have currently had is you get to my level of success and then you blame the algorithm, or you blame audience attention spans, or you blame XYZ for why you can't get any further than you already are. So I try to be very careful with the language I use and the language I take in about what the current problem is. Because, yeah, we have to appeal to a wider fan base, But a lot of times people conflate appealing to a wider fan base with selling out, doing things that are not creatively satisfying, doing things that are less funny, less entertaining for the sake of being mainstream. And I think that a lot of my stuff just make it better. Just make it better. It's not, you know, I'm not being shadow banned. It's no, okay, but this video would perform better if you made it funnier. If you made it more straightforward and enjoyable. Okay, so let's go back to skits for next week. We have betrayal, pride, shame, arrogance. I think these are the 4. Yeah, we could do loneliness. We'll stay with these 5. So what things happen that are universal magic related feelings of betrayal? There is somebody breaking a deal. Zero Throw Shack, thank you for the Prime sub for the 7th month in a row. Welcome back to the dog home. Gender dysphoria. Everybody has that, right? Yeah.
Not my baby kittens. Yeah, not my little ladies. Are just fucking.
Being hungry and mad because you're hungry. Yeah, that does sound like sound like a very magic related experience. Yeah, lying about your deck. Ooh, somebody let you win. Getting counterpicked. I think not paying back a favor can go under breaking a deal. Well, so fun. I think the important part there is there's a difference between sandbagging to let a new player win and then telling them that you sandbagged. I think getting pub stomped is not under these. Maybe sadness. Aiko, thank you for the 3 streams in a row. Let's move on to pride. We have a couple ideas here. So pride. Beating a pub stomper. That feels pretty good. Doing a good deed. And these don't have to be magic specific. So pride, beating a pub stomper, doing a good deed, building a good deck. Playing well. Your protege bests you. That's a good motif. Because I think we could take this one. I think we could take your protege bests you. And I think there's an inversion with the pride you feel of the person you taught magic getting good enough to beat you, and then they're just like a massive cunt about it. They're just and then you either like have to put the smack down or you just tweak about it. Yeah, and I hate doing that because it's so obvious, but I think that I I probably have to film that skit as an exercise for myself. Yeah, cliches are popular for a reason. Like I probably film that and then um I hate everything about it. And it's probably going to be the most successful thing I ever do. Yeah, we could subvert again by having the student still win anyway. Yeah, whether remind them you are in charge fails or succeeds, I think these are the primary emotions at play. So let's go back to the emotions board. So shame. Where do we get shame from? Misplaying our deck. So we'll just say misplaying. Pub stomping. You show up with a deck that you thought was okay, and then you beat the shit out of the table, and they're all like really sad. I think there's shame there. Getting outplayed. Zero Gear, I think that falls under misplaying. Ooh, pub stomping and getting stomped. How do we feel about getting mad over a game? Ooh, getting too angry. This one's hard because I may be totally fabricating it. I swear to God, Zach has done one about somebody who was like in rehab for raging during the Commander game, and they were like, I'm getting better now, and then they weren't better. So it's difficult to think of a way to execute that same, because that's like the you know, best way. That's the like straight on best thing to do is like, this guy baby rages, he went to therapy, he did not get better. Yeah, the punchline is he plays Grand Arbiter against the group. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I might be able to find a different punchline because the other thing that I think it's difficult for me to accept is the level of The Simpsons did it that you have to be okay with. Because if I get better at skits, not if I try, part of getting better at skits is going to involve retreading the same themes that Zach has already tread. He's already done many of these emotions, many of these situations really, really well. I just need to make sure that I'm not grifting his punchlines or grifting his like. I just have to not be copy pasting his setups and punchlines. But I will inevitably have the same. Like, I will inevitably copy a premise because the premises are so broad and universal that it's kind of impossible not to if you want to make anything relatable. the core of it is to just find things in the execution and find things in the punchline that I do differently. Giving a deck you are proud of to a friend and it sucks. I think deck you are proud of sucks. Because I think that also goes with getting stomped. My good thing is not good. And there's a lot of different applications for my good thing is not good. My good thing is not good. Bit you are proud of isn't funny. Ooh, accidentally continuing to target the weakest player at the table. So I think that's with pub stomping a little bit, but that is an interesting application of pub stomping. Pub stomping, you inadvertently oh, there's an E there. Okay. Inadvertently bully the weakest or newest player because you think they are about to pop off. I think that one has a lot of potential. Because that's one where I think the difficulty there is how do I communicate that, figuring out the hook for that. But I can see the middle of that in my head very, very quickly. Like, they play something, and then it flashes back to this player, and they have, like, a beautiful mind internal monologue of, like, that means he's going to play this, which means he probably has this in the deck, which means he's going to combo off with this, and then they cast removal. Player's sad. And they go... And I think part of it has to be vocalized, and the new player has to go, oh, shucks. I was just so excited to play Glup Shitto next turn. A little bit of shame. Next turn, they play another scary thing. Blows it up. Oh, man. I really wanted Aetherflux Reservoir to protect me, since I'd already lost 20 life this game. Yeah. I think Yuriko is a great example for this. Kinnan is a great example for this. Ain't that just paranoia? Yes, but paranoia is the secondary emotion. Like, the way these skits are going to work is we pick one emotion we are committing really, really hard to, and there can be a mix of other stuff underneath it. That seems like it's going to follow your usual curve, I fear. I don't think that's true. I think it could. I think what it requires is it requires the person who is doing the removal to get visibly sweatier and sweatier and more frantic. Like, I think the way you sell that is first time, and I might be able to sell it with the reactions of people at the table, where the first time the table goes, oh yeah, good idea. The second time the table goes, I don't know if we needed to deal with it right now. And then the third time, the table goes like, dude, he's played for a week. Will you chill out? And then he takes it back. And, okay, I know what we do. Here is how that skit goes, in my mind. Where is it? So the pub stomping skit, specifically. Or inadvertent bullying. No. It's not the same problem cards each time. New player, we're going to take what Not As Fun said I'm playing Yuriko. We're not typing no words. We're typing emotions. We're typing emotions. Paranoid acceptance from the bully. Excitedly Yuriko's. Proudly removes it. Table, Table happily accepts. Sadly laments dog shit follow-up. And each of these arrows is a different shot. So new player presents Yuriko. This guy, maybe like an inside out monologue, some type of internal like Green Goblin mask talk of yeah, Sirach, that's where we're going. That's where we're ending. Yeah, hey, gay, guess what? The punchline is Thoracle. Good. That means that's a good skit. Proudly remove it. Table accepts. Sadly laments not being able to play like, and then they reveal just some shitty card. And plays Aetherflux. Actually, I think it has to be sadly laments dogshit follow-up. Slight shame. Then it would be, what's the adjective I'm looking for here? I'm looking for kind of like not happy but not sad. Deflatedly. Deflated Aetherflux reservoir. No, Aetherflux is the perfect strength. Aetherflux is the perfect strength for this. Yeah, dejected. Dejected Aetherflux. And then it would be a word for unsure. Because he's going to remove it again. Maybe questioning removal. Warily, I love that. Warily, hesitant, these are great words. Hesitant removal. Table warily accepts. Table is skeptical. Sadly laments low life total. Moderate shame. On someone else's end step, he dejectedly vamp tutors. Dejected vamp tutor. I think now he has to go back the other direction. Or maybe he doesn't. Maybe he has to go like heartbroken counterspell. Table not conflicts, not rebuttal. Table disagrees. Table like stern table disagreement. I think it would have to be heartbroken, and this is the only part where specifics matter. Heartbroken fierce guardianship. Okay. Here is where the specifics will become a little bit of a problem. Because we want the tutor. Yeah. He's gonna take back the counterspell. Like the table's gonna be like, hey, don't be that way. Scornful. I love that. Scornful disagreement. He's gonna take back the counterspell. Hesitant retraction. Thoracle combo. That's the skit. Dialogue doesn't matter. Not thoracic combo, my god. Thoracle. Then table gets mad at main for not dealing with it. It's possible. I think there's a couple options we have for the ending. The ending could go... Is there a way to make him accidentally succeed at demonic consultation? I think a way for him to accidentally succeed at demonic consult is demonic, yeah, basic land. Because Z a few weeks ago cracked a prismatic vista and failed to find because they had greedily... That's true, actually. The win being an accident does... Because then he wasn't wrong. Then the person did just have a, like, crazy good deck. Yeah, so, yeah. So it won't be an accident. So, dejected demonic consultation for a basic land. Heartbroken fierce guardianship because he's like, I want to, bro. I can't risk it. And the table's like, dude, you have to fucking stop. Just let him. He just needs a fucking land drop. Will you chill out? He's like, okay. I'm sorry. And he takes it back. And then we go to... We need like a sly smile plus fail to find plus Thoracle. And then he's gonna look at the player who's been bullying him like he got, yeah, the Grinch grin. Like he got one over on him, and then the player who had been bullying him just yells fuck at the top of his lungs. No, we don't exile 6 basics, because again, we want the person getting bullied. We want the twist to be the person getting bullied was a villain the whole time. Yeah, Royster, that's a shortcut that happens all the time. I've had plenty of experiences where somebody is like, I'm tutoring for a basic land, can we just be cool? So it would be one of those. And then there's like a million fucking things I have to do with the lighting, I think, to play with this the right way. Fuck, that makes me so angry. That makes me so angry that it's that easy. Fierce Guardianship can't counter Thoracle though, Kenny. Like I think it is better that the counterspell is stopped via social norms than it is because the guy who was bullying, yeah, should feel like, oh my god, I could have stopped him. The Roysterer, it is a good idea, but it takes away from the new player has to have secretly planned this. Like the new player has to be pretending that they're playing a weak deck. They're the villain. And so at the end of the skit, or even like, I think but the premise doesn't even make sense anyway, regardless of the counterspell. After he plays Thoracle, why wouldn't the guy, now totally justified, counter it? That's a really good point. We're going to have to start from scratch. I can't for the life of me figure out why the guy, after he allows demonic consultation to resolve, wouldn't counter this non-creature spell. It is a goddamn mystery of life. Because it matters that he empties his deck with demonic consult, because like the actual shot is going to be, he's like, oh, I just need a basic. I just need a basic. And then he's going to get to the last couple cards and he's going to go, oh no. It looks like I didn't have any. And then he is going to cast Thoracle. So at the point where it is revealed, not very much. I think we might have like one go around the table of people being like, damn, that's taking a minute. Nope, it is demonic consultation. It is important. It is important to the skit that these are the most well-known combo pieces, in the game. Again, dialogue doesn't matter unless it is a pun or a reference. The specific dialogue of I am using demonic consultation, this is a reference. This is a thing that is big in the Magic zeitgeist. Yeah, we could have them exile Bowmasters in the One Ring too, and that could like put everybody on alert. I don't think it's necessary. I think, in fact, I think it's even better if he's like, because have we not all had a friend who loses a couple games and then just shoves a 2-card infinite in their deck because they're like, oh, I needed to win? Like, I think no. I think it should be, this is an actual factual like dog shit Yuriko deck that just happens to have a Thoracle combo in it. That is funnier. Because that is the, like that, I have played against those people. I have been that person where they're going like, oh, this deck actually is bracket 2, and they were worried about not being able to end the game, and so they put Thoracle in it. And then the lie is that they like had Thoracle in hand and named a card they knew they wouldn't find. Like, I think if I want to be here is where I get to be clever. Here is the piece of dialogue where I get to be clever. When it gets to the scene of he's exiling, he goes demonic consult for a basic island. He's like, I just need a land. He's gonna go through The table's cautiously gonna question. He's gonna say, oh, I only have one island. My mana base is pretty greedy. Cautious acceptance. He's going to get through his whole deck, like next shot is his deck's empty, and he's going to go, oh. Turns out it was already in my hand. He's going to play the island and tap it for Thoracle. And then he's going to do the Grinch smile at the guy who didn't counterspell him. That is where I get to be a clever little shithead with how the dialogue is set up. Everything else, dialogue doesn't matter. And that's probably the most successful skit I will film in my life. Horrifying. Great. This is not getting complex at all. This is a very simple concept and bit. Like, we have a lot of arrows because we're cutting back and forth a few times, but it's literally just experienced player bullies new player proves they should have been bullied. Like like one, simple doesn't necessarily have to mean short. A lot of the times it does. But this is probably the simplest skit I have ever laid out. I defy you to find the most complicated thing in this skit is understanding that Fierce Guardianship can't counterspell Thoracle. And even that is just good comment bait. Yeah, it's a very classic Key and Peele formula. It's a very classic, like, everything formula of, like, man is suspicious of other man. Society declares him overly suspicious. He is then proven right. That's so simple. So Roysterer, that's why I said table happily accepts. Like, when he blows up Yuriko, the table is going to cheer. Only the new player is going to be sad. When he blows up the Aether Flux, we are going to introduce the additional detail that he can't capitalize on it, and the table's going to be like, I mean, yeah, we probably didn't need to do it immediately. And then when they counterspell his basic land tutor, they're going to go, dude, fucking stop. Damn. It's that easy. Fuck. Okay, but I like my little treat. I like this line. This line is for me. Oh, it was already in my hand, and then he plays the island and taps it and, like, an underground sea to play Thoracle. That's my treat. Throw in a little rage comment bait. I don't need to. If there is if rage bait or comment bait naturally evolves with the video, we'll keep it. I don't need to sprinkle it in. Not as fun. I agree. I think that's a different video. How do you establish relatability in 3 seconds without text? Here's how. Shot 1. Done. I need like 1.5 seconds of me pulling out a backpack going, what's everyone playing today? Cuts to the new player going, oh, I built Yuriko. Cuts back to this guy with like shadowy lighting on my face and the Among Us sound, the Law and Order sound effect, anything that is like drama is happening now, and we're off. That's it. That's relatable. 1-to-1 Zach the Boulder. What are you fucking talking about? He doesn't. Did he do a "Oh, I built Yuriko" short? Because that's a genuine problem. If it's just using lighting, I refuse. I refuse to seed only one motherfucker on Instagram gets to have good lighting. I will not. I will give up. Yeah, shadowy lighting with a close-up horrified face. He can go fucking patent it. Good luck. I'll fucking tweak. Good rage bait, Starry. Tremendous job. Yeah, spray bottle instant sweat. I think Zach's doing that now too, but there's other people that he lifted that from. I think the problem is definitely I'm gonna film this and everyone's gonna be like, you're ripping off Zach the Bold. How dare you use how dare you execute a simple script well? Only one white boy gets to do that. Whatever, we'll survive. Maybe I can think of a different way to... Oh, I could do this. I could have, Are we now saying using established visual effects is ripping someone else off? No, I'm saying the internet will say it. Don't worry, I'll leave a comment saying this is kind of ripping off Zach the Bold, and then everyone can dogpile me guilt-free. Thank you. Yeah, it's like, because there are... One, nobody who's posting skits on Instagram, like, owns their format, because we have all mimicked things we have seen on TV or on film. Like, most of Zach's stuff is just lifted directly from movie cinematography. He's just executing it really well. He still gets props for that. But there is something to be said for a lot of people will tend to develop little stylistic quirks that are more unique. And so many people have forgotten the things that Zach ripped off that they think he made them up. I hesitate to even use the term ripped off because it's like that's not what, like, throughout all of human civilization, we mimic the other art forms that we watched growing up. Yeah. Like if we compare like jokes, shot compositions, faces to Monty Python, Jim Carrey, da. Like if Monty Python was posting Instagram shorts at the same time, everybody would be like, "You fucking hack." And so the trick is making it feel like Maldhound. Zach, I do actually try to watch a relatively small amount of Zach's content to avoid it infiltrating my brain too deep. Anybody who watches Zach the Bold, he hasn't done this video, right? Like this exact video. As long as I am not lifting the exact punchline and like exact setup, okay, then we're good. Yeah. The style on Betrayal for sure. Because Betrayal's that's one of the things where it's like, I'm okay if I step on toes there. Because Betrayal's a fucking universal human concept. This seems derivative. It's derivative as fuck. I was questioning if I had seen it before. Yeah, that's the thing, is a lot of the best videos already existed in the hearts and souls of men before you scrolled into them. All right. I think that's solid. I think we have other ones I can work on. I think we cut it here for today. Thank you all. Thank you all very, very much. I look forward to filming this derivative-ass skit. And we'll be live again tomorrow doing actual magic content. Put our checks in the mail. Yeah, one penny to all of you. So thank you for being here. I will see you all tomorrow at noon for Commander Deck Roasting. We will be raffling a free one. Expect an announcement today or tomorrow about the official rules for the March 14th competition. Have a great day, and please remember to stay toxic.